Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so today I'm gonna go ahead and jump on in. Hope you guys are doing well. Today's gonna be a Q&A. So I'm gonna be answering one of the questions I get a whole lot. And at the end, I'll open it up to new questions if you guys like. So I get asked the question a lot, can you manifest an ex back and how can you do that? But if you guys know me and how I operate, I do not advise manifesting someone who's left your life back, first of all, or focusing on trying to manifest a specific person. And let me explain why. Because I have actually done this before. I have manifested an ex before. For one thing, if you're trying to do love spells with trying to manifest a specific person, it's not going to work. Or, well, it can work, but it will be temporary. It would not last, because if somebody is not for you, all that's going to happen is that person will come into your life to reteach you the lesson all over again as to why you separated in the first place, or that person come into your life and it won't last because you guys were not a vibrational match to come together. And if you guys are not a vibrational match, then it wouldn't last, because your energy is here, their energy is here, or vice versa. You see what I'm saying? You look like a Spice Girl with those galactic spacemen. Thank you. Yes, that's what I thought that too. Oh, tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Yes, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. I'm gonna bring back those shoes too. But so it would end up being temporary at the end of the day if you operate from that regard. But also, if you do, I have manifested an ex back before. Let me tell you how. It wasn't necessarily through like magic or spells, but it was more of law of attraction and momentum. So like I don't want to say this person's name, and as you guys already know, I'm currently in a very happy, loving relationship with my vibrational match, but my experiences from the past are what helped to co-create him into my life. So there was a time in my life before I was the best version of me, before I had all these different levels of spiritual awakening, before I before I was truly living authentically and in my confidence. I had a high school first love, sweetheart, all of this. And back then I was the one who ended the relationship because I felt like I was being held back from discovering who I was, because this particular person, he proposed to me when I was 18. He was in the military, and I did not want to be a military wife, traveling all over, and I had no idea who I was. So my spirit, even though I didn't know it at the time, was seeing the version of me that I could become. I didn't know it at the time, but I ended the relationship just because something didn't feel right at the time. However, all of the relationships, all of the situationships, all the people I talked to ever since then, I was continuously comparing to that person that I left and thinking I made a mistake, you know? And 10 years later, at the time, he finally did come back. And why? Because of how the law of attraction works. Law of attraction works whether you're doing it on purpose or not. So because I was always comparing people to him and thinking back to, did I make a mistake? What if I had stayed, this or that? Momentum finally caught up in divine timing, as it always does, and he came back into my life. We ended up getting together, and I thought my dreams were coming true. So it's one of those things that I regret but don't at the same time, but let me say why. I regret it because it ended up, for a temporary amount of time, shattering my dreams, and I lost my faith in love and everything for a little while. But I don't regret it because it taught me deeper lessons that I'm going to share with you now. And I don't regret it because, like I said, that experience helped me learn about myself even further. And without that happening, I wouldn't have the person that I'm with now, who I truly and genuinely believe is my very vibrational match. Okay? So, what it taught me, first of all, I'm not going to say any names to put him out there, but the reason it ended was because he was not healed from his situation with his child's mother, because we had been apart for 10 years and we had been off and on for a little while, and on one of those periods where we were off, he got somebody else pregnant and ended up with that person. So he wasn't over that. Like, he was still attached to that heavy. And in my brain, I was trying to make it, like, in my brain I was trying to see it from the perspective of, he was always mine because he was my first love, I was his first love. Like, to me, in my mind at the time, I had some sort of, like, power or authority over him, even though my intuition was telling me this is all wrong, he's clearly not over her, and it just didn't feel right. All the toxic stuff I talked to you guys about, the inconsistencies, the saying one thing but actions doing something else, all of that was showing up. But I wasn't my best self at that time, and I had to learn these lessons so that I could then help you guys, and also manifest the person I have now. So he ended up cheating on me with his child's mother. I saw it in a dream, of course, being the psychic that I am. I brought it up. He acted like, oh wow, what a crazy dream, but didn't say anything about it. My intuition later had me go through his phone, and I saw some texts which confirmed it. And yeah, so eventually we ended things. But what that experience taught me was, for one, on the positive note, it taught me that my power of manifestation is so strong that even though it was later on in time, I did manifest this person back into my life through momentum, through the law of attraction, even though it was more of a subconscious thing, all of that. The other thing is, it showed me that when somebody leaves your life, it is for a reason. You may not always know that reason. It may be that the universe is protecting you from someone who's going to hurt you again. It may be that the universe knows that there's somebody better out there for you, that you don't have to go through all this BS for in the first place, which I have now. You know what I mean? I have a happy relationship, and the version of me at that time obviously didn't know that, but Source did. So the universe had to show me this lesson. So you never know why somebody's being removed from your life. However, it taught me that if something ended and you're so busy romanticizing the past, trying to get that thing back, the core issues, most of the time, not always, there are exceptions to the rule, but the majority of the time, most of the time, the core issues are still going to be there. So if the core issues are there, still there, they're just going to replay themselves over and over and over. And when the warning signs show up, when the red signs show up, I don't care what history you have with somebody, those warning signs are there for a reason. So it taught me all of that, and it did break me down. I was heartbroken for a long time. I lost my faith in, like, love and all of that for a little while, but I did eventually start dating again and all of that. But when I look back, every situation, it taught me things about myself that I needed to heal and work through. It taught me about noticing the red flags. It taught me about trusting my intuition when something doesn't feel right, even though this person is not admitting to anything or not saying anything. It taught me, it did teach me about my power of manifestation, which can work in positive ways or negative ways, whether you're doing it on purpose or subconsciously. It's always working. Thoughts become things, your words are spells. You know what I mean? It taught me all of that. But each situation has led me to realizing that all they are lessons. And if you even have to feel like you have to use magic to manifest somebody into your life, they're probably not your vibrational match. They're probably not for you, because once your vibrational match comes in, it's smooth sailing. Maybe not every day smooth sailing, but a good majority of the time it's smooth sailing. It's peaceful, it's happy, it flows. So I say all that to say, you can do it. I don't recommend it for all the reasons I just said, because most of the time it would be temporary, or you would get hurt all over again, or maybe that connection most likely was just meant to help to teach you about you, to help you learn a lesson, to help you to grow and evolve, so that you can then continue to heal, to ascend, to grow, to level up, and manifest the person that is for you, which will come when you're not looking. As cliche as that sounds, cliches are cliches because they're widely known truths. They'll come when you're not looking, when you're not trying, when you're not seeking. They'll come when you have full self-love. They'll come when you are confident in yourself, when you're being in your authentic truth. They'll come when you're living your life and not worrying about it. So I say all that to say, I don't recommend it. And hopefully this will help you to understand the reasons why it's probably for the best that particular chapter, that the door got shut in your face, because there's another door opening and it's probably way better. So if you just joined in and you missed it, I'm gonna go ahead and save this live, so don't worry, and I will put it up on YouTube for you guys to check out either later tonight or tomorrow. I'm fasting right now, so I'm super tired. I got my tea going on, so everything is kind of like a task right now. I love your hair. Thank you. But for you guys who are here, do you have any other Q&As for me? I already covered the manifesting an X-Pac topic, so I'm going to save this, like I said, and put it up so you can revisit that. But any other questions for me, Q&A questions? This could be about anything magical, metaphysical, psychic. This could be anything you want to know about me, law of attraction, things like that. But if not, I'm gonna head off. The cards of the day I recorded, it was too long to put on IGTV today, so it's up on my YouTube. And the June forecast for the collective, I did record, and I'll be putting that up soon also on my YouTube. All right, you guys. Oh wait, what about when you feel like you already know something? In terms of what? I don't quite understand the question. If you could elaborate. Somebody else. What do you think about Twin Flame Journey? I have a video up on Twin Flames on my YouTube also. I'm not a fan of that way of thinking, to be fully transparent. I find it to be very problematic and troublesome. But yeah, you can check that video out on my YouTube channel if you like. For the person who asked about what about when you feel like you already know something, if you could elaborate on that, because I'm not too sure what you're asking. Oh, there we go. If you have an interview but you already feel that they have picked the person and it's not you. I mean, you have to kind of tap in to try to feel like, is this just a worry, a fear, like ego based, or is it genuine intuition? Like when you know something, like let's say it's claircognizance or something, it's more of like a peaceful knowing, like I just know it is. But like for the most part, if it's just your fear talking, it will, if you could tap back into a memory of when you just were worrying for no reason, if you could tap back into what you felt at that time, and if it feels like that, then it could just be your fear talking. You know what I mean? But if you really feel like that, I mean, and they're still giving you the interview, still just go through it. Like, you never know what one thing will lead to the next. Like, you could go through and they could like you, and maybe they have somebody in mind for that particular position, but maybe something else will open up and they will be like, oh, I like that person, let's bring them in for that. You know what I mean? So that would be my suggestion. Hello, love. Thank you. I don't know why I just became British. Oh, because somebody said Spice Girls earlier. I'm channeling character now. Anybody else have any questions before I head off? You're welcome. Hope that helps. All right, I think I'm gonna run now. Plus, my boyfriend will probably be home soon. Oh wait, nope, somebody else. How do you know when to forgive or move on? When it's, well, I would say do both. And so, like, forgiveness you do for you, not for the other person. Forgiveness you do to keep your heart chakra open, and so that you can give love then to somebody who deserves it, and so that you can continue to love yourself. So forgiveness is more so for you. You don't have to, and you can forgive someone and still keep them at a distance. You know what I mean? You don't have to interact. But in terms of like moving on, and you should always move on, and what I mean by that is like, always keep moving forward with your life. Never wait for somebody that's not choosing you. Never remain in a situation that is just always stagnant, non-progressive, a trauma bond, same cycles over and over and over. But in terms of just like maybe cutting somebody off fully, I guess that would depend on what's the level of disrespect they've shown you consistently. You know what I mean? What's the level of time and energy spent with no return on your investment? What's the, like, how much throughout the day or on a consistent basis is this situation making you feel worse or draining your energy than it is providing value into your life? And are you working on healing through the issues within yourself before trying to fix somebody else? And are they doing anything consistent self-work to be evolve out of whatever the issue is that is continuing the cycle? You know what I mean? Because you can't get somebody on the same page with you if they are not doing the work themselves. So if they have no willingness to change or put in the work and the effort, then it may be time to move on and surrender and like close that door. And again, future's not set in stone, so that's not to say, like what I was speaking on earlier, years later, 10 years later, this person might come back into your life. Maybe you will have a better situation than what I did, and maybe it could work. Maybe they've done the self-work. But in my case, that person didn't do the self-work. The issues were still there, and I hadn't fully done my self-work at the time. So it was just a whole scary dynamic. And if that situation hadn't come back to teach me those lessons, for me to then let it go and close that chapter, I wouldn't have grown, I wouldn't have seen my strength, my power, and I wouldn't have manifested someone way better than anybody from the past. So hopefully that helps. But you shouldn't have to keep trying, especially if the other person isn't trying. But sometimes people have to separate and do their own self-work as individuals. Hopefully that helped. Alrighty, this one piece of hair, this one chunk of like hair is driving me crazy right now. Okay guys, I'm gonna run now. Love you all. And I will talk to you next time. And I will put this up on YouTube so you can watch it from the beginning if you wanted to know what I had to say about manifesting an ex back and why you shouldn't. Bye.